You need to watch this. This is a British MP talking about it. He knows what's going on. They're not going to tell you when shit's going down before it's too late. It's just going to be just like COVID all over again.
Rishi wants out. We are actually at war with Russia now.
See, I've been banging on about this for a while now, man. You need to get prepared. I told you this will come in. Yeah, right. Listen to what he says next.
They not just haven't told you. I've told you.
So say that again?
We're actually at war with Russia now. I met with Andrei Kelin, the Russian ambassador in London, a couple of months ago, and he said that we know that your people are firing those Storm Shadow missiles at us out of Ukraine because you couldn't train the Ukrainians to do it.
You see, man, the Ruskies know, right? The UK and the US, especially the UK, like we blew up the pipelines, we've done a load of stuff to Russia. The Ruskies know that it's us. They just can't definitively prove it, so they can't do nothing about it. But it's getting real close.
You're doing it, and I mean everybody knows that there are lots of US, UK, French. The French are in there.
I thought it was the Brits were down on the ground and special advisors.
Yeah.
Training sessions and teaching them and showing them.
Isn't that how?
But they were apparently, that's how we started with the Vietnam War.
Vietnam War, yeah.
Dude, what the frack are we doing poking the bear?
You see, man, there's been lots of conflicts around the world where we basically go in, we have a little tickle, we start getting involved, and then before you know it, man, boots are on the ground, it's full scale, like Iraq, Afghanistan, Vietnam, like, and they're just doing it again with Russia, like, they're just taking the piss now.
That's really stupid.
They're determined to get us into a war with Russia, and thank God we've got someone in Putin who at least has got some brains.
Now you sound like a Putin lover.
Well, I'm not. I think...
And this is the thing, man, a lot of people out there, as soon as you defend Putin in any way, shape or form, they're like, oh, you're for Russia, you're this, you're that, blah, 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 blah. No, I just don't want a nuclear fucking annihilation. Like there's no doubts about it. The West, NATO, are the ones provoking Russia. We're the ones that are basically going in, supplying weapons that go further and further into Russian territory. And then Russia then has got to push Ukraine further and further back. And then we turn around and we're like, oh, look, he's advancing in Ukraine, he's coming towards NATO, so we need to attack him now. No, if we never sent long-range weapons in the first place, it'd never come to this.
I'm not convinced any of them are any good. But at the end of the day, if you look at the facts, since 91, we've moved NATO 1,000 miles nearer to Moscow. They haven't moved nearer to us.
No, they haven't.
And if you think about what we were trying to do, the EU wanted to bring in Ukraine for whatever reason, and NATO wanted it, and they'd have put missiles on the border of Russia.
And to add to that, Russia has asked on multiple occasions to join NATO, and NATO have always said no. So you can't argue with the guy. He showed restraint. If Russia was doing anything that we're doing to them, to us, we'd have nuked them by now. I'm telling you now, we're destroying oil refineries, we're going after like critical infrastructure, long-range ICBM detection, and we're blowing them up with everything, man. And Putin's still not doing anything. Now, he probably knows, you know, if he does go nuclear, probably tactical nuclear weapon on the battlefield, then it's not going to be good. That's why he's showing so much restraint, but still.
Well, I mean, what did America do when the old Soviet Union tried to put missiles in Cuba 90 miles off the Florida coast?
Yeah, exactly.
They weren't having it, were they?
No.
And if you look back, the Russians have told us for long enough, Ukraine's got to remain neutral. You know, we're not going to let it get him. They've told us this. Okay.
So after the Cold War and all the Cuban Missile Crisis and all that nonsense, right, the Soviet Union was agreed to be dissolved into separate countries, but there was supposed to be a neutral buffer zone between Russia and NATO. And over the years, the neutral countries have been becoming blue. Yeah, NATO has been basically adding them all. Ukraine was one of the last straws because it's got key points to like ports in the Black Sea and stuff like that. So if Russia, like in Cuba, was trying to put missiles anywhere near NATO, we have massive beef with them. But yet we've been doing it to them for years now, and nothing's come of it until Ukraine.
A very long time.
So hold on a second. You said Rishi wants out, and then
Rishi doesn't want to be Rishi's told the generals he doesn't want to be a wartime prime minister.
Now this little rat Rishi basically has got us into this mess, and just before it's all about to kick off, he wants out. Honestly, man, like.
Really? So who's calling the shots? Is it the generals or the prime minister or someone else? Because
it's someone above Rishi. I mean,
he is talking about the elites. So basically, the elites are a group of shady characters. They're all basically the private companies of the world. and they all meet every year in Davos, right? The World Economic Forum, and they are basically just orchestrate world events. And they're the ones that are pushing for war with China, North Korea and Russia, because the elites, them three central banks, the elites own all the central banks apart from them three. And whatever you want to call them, the elites, the Illuminati or whatever, it's the one world order. They want one world order to rule the entire world.
You don't really think that Rishi and Starmer, I mean, the whole thing's a pantomime in Parliament.
So I keep saying...
It's a pantomime.
So I keep saying...
Oh, no, it's not. Oh, yes, it is.
I keep saying that our political system, we have this illusion of democracy. It's BS.
You see, and this is how the elites maintain power. If they just came out and told you, look, I'm ruling the world, then you get called a communist. Yeah, like Russia does and like China does, right? You know, it's a communist country. You get told what to do from top down. But we in the West, we get led to believe, look, you've got a choice. You've got democracy. You can choose this one or this one. But really, if someone is above the government, like the king, for example, which I think basically is pulling a lot more strings than what anyone even knows, because or else why do we even still have them? And King Charles is one of the leaders of the World Economic Forum. That enables continuity of the plan. And then the peasants, which are us, basically, we get to believe, oh, look, there's nothing wrong because we keep having to choose. But no matter what we choose, nothing changes because it's all just a game. It's all part of the plan. It's the illusion of democracy. We've got no choice in the matter. No matter who you choose, it's going to make no difference. The plan will still be the plan.
The uni-party system,
yes.
And they're puppets, and there are people pulling the strings. Is that what's happening?
That's what's happening. And the next general election, I now realise, and I was beguiled by it for years. I mean, I've won at 4 elections as a Conservative. The next election is none of them. There haven't been. It's not a race between the blue and the red team to see who crosses the finishing line. This is a baton handover.
They're either going to sack this guy, yeah, or he's going to be a paedophile, or they're going to kill him. He's going to turn up in a suitcase somewhere. So I'm telling you, because he's exposing them all. Suitcase gang.
All the big issues: net zero, COVID response, the WHO, the trans agenda.
Who's pushing it then? Who's pushing it? Who's pulling the levers?
It's Agenda 2030. It's the World Economic Forum, the 0.1% of the richest people in the world.
Andy said it. The World Economic Forum, 0.1% of population, richest people in the world. The Rothschilds, big companies, pharmaceuticals, oil, gas. Think of any company, multi-billion-dollar company, yeah. This is who we're talking about, and these are all the people who still have a boss. So all these big companies have a boss, and their boss are the Illuminati, the top, 0.1%, the richest companies. You're talking about trillions of dollars of assets under management, your BlackRocks, your Vanguards, and that's if even that is the very top. Like, nah. Who do you think when America is borrowing all this money off, who do they go cap in hand to? Because whoever that is the person that's pulling the strings.
The people who listen, to make money, all we need is next week's newspapers today, wouldn't we? Well, if you own next week's newspapers, you know what's going to happen and what's going to be reported, regardless of what the facts are. And that's the position these.
So we're heading for war.
And also, yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Well, we're actually already in it. They're not going to tell the people probably till July or August.
Of course they're not going to tell you, because it'll cause mass hysteria, rioting and looting everywhere. And they want to maintain some kind of a civilized society right up until the point when they lock you down. Just like COVID. They didn't tell you about COVID. They didn't let you in and say, look, this is going to be bad. They told us it was going to be all right up until they were ready. And then they brought in the lockdowns. Then they brought in the restrictions. Then they brought in all the measures. They just waited until they had all the ducks in a row first, and then they came. If you ask me, COVID were a dry run for something just like this, because at the end of the day, they know how malleable the population is, how weak and controllable you all are, or we all are. Even though I didn't do nothing like that, but still, it's not going to be good.
Maybe a bit later, and I think Rishi wants out.
Hold on one second. I mean, if we go to war with Russia, we're talking about potentially nuclear war.
I know.
Do they understand what they're playing with?
Well,
here?
we have a nuclear.
We're not playing with fire.
I know, and it goes against all our defence thinking.
But even
we have nuclear weapons, so that no one would do that to us. So why would we do it to someone who's got 20 times more nuclear, 30 times more nuclear weapons than we've got.
And not just that,
Because it's not just the UK, it's basically the entirety of the elite or the West against Russia. That's why they've got such big balls of it, because it's not just the UK fighting Russia, it's going to be the entire weight of the elite coming down on Russia, and Putin knows this.
air defense capability, the S-500, I mean,
Yes.
it's a million times better than what we've got. We've got nothing compared to that.
We've got nothing that can stop any of their...
What is it? We've got Arrow or something? I mean, that can't do jack shit with their hypersonic
I've
missiles.
seen a report that we just do not have any defence for the UK against the Russian...
Because you know they've got...
Now, I do believe that the UK and the West has got some tech which basically we don't even know of, because no one even knew about Dragonfire laser or whatever it's called until only a couple of months ago. So I do think we've got tech that they don't know. Well, we don't know about, they know about, but Putin kind of knows about. That's why he's just kind of just sitting back and just seeing, because you've got to get him to show the hand, you know. The longer Putin waits and the more he pushes the boundaries to a certain degree, the more NATO is going to expose the kind of tech that he's got, or that we've got, so that he can defend against it.
A hypersonic missile.
Yeah.
We've got nothing against that.
Nothing against that.
Well, if you're still here, thanks for watching all the way through, but you need to start prepping. You need to start, because I don't think it's going to go full-blown like Mad Max Fallout 3 nuclear, but there's definitely going to be disruptions to main power, critical infrastructure, and basically your normal way of life, like food's going to stop, things like that, which is why you need to be prepping. You need to have food in storage, water in storage, and then you need to learn how to purify your own water. You need to learn how to cook without gas. You need to learn to live without electricity. I mean, Sunak's already come out and said the UK needs to prepare for 3 days. It's going to be longer than 3 days. You need skills that are renewable. You need to be able to, like say, filter your own water, take dirty water and be able to filter it. Because I don't think nuclear fallout's going to be flying everywhere, but there is a very high likelihood that some kind of cyber attack's going to take out power grids. EMP is going off. I mean, they've already tried to EMP fucking Iran. Israel did, but was it Pablo Escobar? He blew the whistle on that. So it's very close to basically lights out, good night.